Hello and welcome to Working Crass Podcast. This is my wife and co-host Lauren.
Hello.
And I'm her husband and co-host Joshua. Hello. And we since the last time we've done an episode, we've been married.
Yeah, we're a lot more married than the last time you saw us.
It feels a lot more married than the last time. It definitely does.
Yeah.
But the good news is we're back every single Monday.
Hell yeah.
So we took a little bit of a break in July, but you're going to get us once a week, whether you like it or not. So get ready for a whole bunch of Working Crass.
Buckle up, sit your butts in your seats, and prepare to have your ears blasted with the Working Crass Podcast because we're not stopping.
And we're going to turn the volume up every single episode.
Oh,
we're going to get a little bit louder, a little bit louder, a little bit louder. And every time you listen to us, but by the time this month is over, just August is over, you're going to have bloody ears from the Working Crass Podcast.
We are gonna create a sonic boom.
Mm-hmm.
We're on a mission to set a record for the world's loudest podcast.
By August, all of our listeners will be deaf, but by September, we will be considered domestic terrorists for what we've done to people. I mean, your heads will blow off of your faces, okay? You won't even have a head for your face to go anymore. Your face will be floating there, and your head will be gone.
You heard it here, folks. We're coming to you, and we're going to blow you up.
We're going to blow you up. Working Crass Podcast will blow you up.
The podcast isn't going to blow up, but you are.
Well, we went home to Texas to get hitched, and while we were in Texas, Lauren had a nice gift from a friend where we got to meet otters.
Yeah.
And so that's a good highlight for us to share with you, a little bit of our personal story with these adorable otters named, what were their names? Sweet Pea and
Otto.
Sweet Pea and Otto. And so basically what it is you get in a tub, and these little otters bite the shit out of you.
They do.
And scratch you and bite you, and they hate you, and then you leave. I'm just playing.
Well, you also get to feed them shrimp.
You feed them shrimp. They'll hide it in your butthole.
That is true.
They'll swim down underneath. They'll hide it under your ass. You got shrimp up your butthole?
Josh is not lying. Yes, I did. So what happens is the otters, they like to shove the shrimp in their mouths as fast as they can.
And hold another shrimp and keep it.
Yeah, and hold another one and keep it. And so if they can't finish the one in their mouth fast enough to put the one in their hands into their mouth and get another one, they will swim down and stash the shrimp for later. And one of the otters kept his stash place was right underneath my butt. And the lady was like, "Oh yeah, they'll do that. They'll stash things under you. Be careful."
Yeah.
And I kept finding shrimp underneath me the entire time.
I mean, I think you're still shitting shrimp.
I am.
Yeah, you're shitting shrimp every day.
It kind of just falls out of my butthole when I walk.
Yeah.
It's like, you know.
And butt shrimp? Mamma mia! Now that's a spicy meatball. It tastes so good. I can't recommend enough sticking shrimp up your wife's asshole, letting it kind of soak in all of the
the cocktail sauce,
the butthole sauce, if you will, and just marinate in there, plop it out, grill it up. Eat it.
It's a delicacy.
The otters know how to cook. They're like little ratatouilles. They know to mix a little bit of the berry with a little bit of cheese. They say, "Oh, the shrimp go well with a butthole."
Everyone can cook.
Everyone.
In the words of Chef Gusto, everyone can cook.
That's very good. That's a good French accent. And then, and they like to dry off on your towel, and they tried to take your towel. It was very cute. It was an adorable experience.
It was so cute.
And this was at Blue Hills Ranch. So we can't recommend enough. If you want to go meet otters or zebras or giraffes.
For smiles and laughs with zebras and giraffes.
Press two. We did call them a few times, and they do have a very Matthew McConaughey kind of voice when they...
they do the all right.
They do.
Thank you for calling the
Blue Hills Ranch. Yep.
But it's an awesome place. It really was. It was so cool. We had a private experience because we were pretty much the only people there that day.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Like, there was nobody else there.
While we were there, we saw a baby deer. We saw a baby kangaroo. We saw
A baby pig.
a baby pig. We saw a whole bunch of big old St. Bernards.
Oh, they were so cute.
They were
so
very, very
fluffy.
cute. We like animals here at the Working Crass podcast.
We do.
Well, why don't we get started with some stories?
Hell yeah, because there's a lot of horse shit that's been going on in the world.
If this is your first time listening to Working Crass Podcast, you need to know that what we do is we talk about the horse shit going on in the world and in our lives. We say that we're working class nobodies, but really we're Chicago comedians. We've been doing comedy shows and,
So we're working class nobodies.
We're working class nobodies. We both work jobs and we don't do comedy professionally. But if you support this podcast, maybe you could help us do that. But probably not.
Yeah.
All right. First up, there's this great story I found on Reddit. This is my new favorite thing, is looking at these Reddit stories, by the way. Maybe this will be what our podcast
I gotta be honest,
exclusively.
I can't stand Reddit.
Oh, yeah.
Just the few Reddit communities that I like dabbled in for just a short bit. It's just awful vibes.
Yeah.
There's just something about like the energy on Reddit is way too controlling, too many rules. I don't understand like having a social media platform and having all these like unnecessary rules.
I agree.
Anyway, that's my rant on Reddit.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. It's pretty stupid. A lot of people were getting kicked out of our entertainment for saying that they enjoyed Dave Chappelle's special. So anything positive that you said about Dave Chappelle's special, they would kick you out of that community.
Well, good. I agree with that. That's actually a good rule. I'm just kidding.
Cool. So this was posted under our entitled parents. An entitled mother insists that I share my Nintendo Switch with her child on my flight. Already, I really love this story. This is great. So I'll read through this and then we'll comment on it a bit here. This just happened the other day, and after sharing the story with friends and family, a few of them suggested that I share it here. The scene is Southwest airline flight. I was sitting in a window seat next to two lovely women, and directly horizontal from us was an empty seat, a mom, and her son. The flight was taking off. For those of you who don't know, you're required to stay seated and keep your seatbelts on for the beginning of the flight, unless the captain says otherwise. Well, I did not. Thanks for clarifying for those who don't know that. That's everyone who's been on a flight knows that. That's the first thing they tell you. For those who don't know, you never heard of flights, you're required to stay seated and keep your seatbelts on for the beginning of the flight. Now, for those of you who've never flown before, your seat can be used as a flotation device. For those of you who have never flown before, if the oxygen levels ever drop, we will drop down face masks. You should apply your own face mask before applying the face mask of your child. I just don't know if anyone's ever been on a flight before, and these are pertinent details to the story.
For those of you that don't know, the airplane goes up into the sky and it flies among the clouds.
For those of you who don't know, there's this thing called an airplane. It's got wings on either side. There's a pilot, right? He sits in the front and he kind of drives it. It's almost like a flying car.
Now, when he comes over the intercom, you usually can't understand what he's saying because it's very muffled. But don't worry, he is saying important things.
For those of you who don't know, the Wright brothers were okay. Okay. So
I also just want to say, they mentioned that this is a Southwest airline flight. Now, I would suspect that mom asking for another passenger to share their Nintendo Switch with their child, that sounds like something that would happen on like a Spirit Airlines kind of flight.
Oh, yeah. That sounds a Spirit-y airline.
It's definitely more Spirit-y airline than Southwest, but interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, very interesting. No, I disagree. Southwest is what we fly to, and I say it's crap.
They're all crap.
They're all crap. Anyway, he says, I was strapped in my seat and decided to take out my Nintendo Switch from my carry-on beneath my feet. Excuse me, ma'am? I didn't realize that the mother in the seats horizontal from me was trying to get my attention. She unbuckled her belt and, oh, that's against the rules, and moved to the empty seat by the aisle closer to me. Ma'am, with the video game. I lifted my head, but the stranger next to me nudged me as well. That lady wants to get your attention, the woman next to me muttered. Okay, first of all, this person needs to, edit their writing a little bit, okay? We don't need every tiny little detail. Get to the juice of the story, okay?
I lifted my head. I turned it slightly to the left to see what was going on. From the corner of my eye, I noticed. I think it's really cinematic. I like it. It paints a picture. I feel like I'm there. I'm on the airline flight. I am her. I have my Nintendo Switch, and this obnoxious mom has just tapped me on the shoulder. I'm living this.
The lady tried to get my attention. The lady next to me says, that lady wants to get your attention. I started to think that perhaps this lady was trying to get my attention. Okay, I turned my head to see this woman leaning across the aisle with her hands on the armrest of the aisle seat in my row. Sorry, she began. I just wanted to know if there's any way that my son could use that game for a little while. Wow.
I gotta say, that mom's got big balls.
That is a ballsy move.
I just like the cojones on her to just be like, hey, can my son use what you're using?
That's so weird. That's like, oh, hey, can my son play with your phone for a little while? Can my son click around on your phone for a bit?
Hey, I noticed you were drinking that 7-Up. Is it okay if my son has some of your 7-Up?
Oh my. Okay, so I kept saying. So he says, but I guess this is a woman here, who is playing this Nintendo Switch. So
yeah, way to stereotype.
I know. I just assumed the video gamer was a man, but hey, women play video games
well,
too.
now let's not get carried away. They may use she pronouns, but they may identify as a man.
Well, the people around them were saying ma'am, so that's how we know it's a biological woman, because nobody, just immediately respects your pronouns. They make the mistake and then they're corrected to do so.
This would be a different story if that's what happened. Is what you're saying?
Yes, it would be complete. The story wouldn't even be entitled "Mother asks me if her son can play my Nintendo Switch." It would immediately be like, "I was misgendered on American Airlines." Burn it to the ground. So. I'm so sorry, I began. My Nintendo Switch is just really important to me. I don't feel comfortable giving it to anyone I don't know. I don't even let my sisters play with it. So
too much information, lady. Just say no.
Oh, no. I would immediately be like, is this a joke? Are you kidding me?
All you needed to do was just go, no. And then continue playing and leave it at that and ignore this bitch. That's it. That's all you need to do. Why you gave it any more time of day?
This is how I would respond. Just read the question that she asked. She began, I just wanted to know.
Sorry. I just want to know if there's any way that my son could use that game for a little while.
Oh, no, sorry. There is no way that can happen.
What?
Is there any way my son... No, there isn't any way. Sorry. I was going to continue, but the woman cut me off. Oh, my son's not like most kids, she replied. He's not destructive. His cousin has one of those, and he knows how to play. It's funny how small this mom thinks of the video game. It's just a little toy or something. Hey, can my kid play with your little toy for a little second? But those things are that's an expensive gaming It's $300. It's as much as an iPhone. I don't think she gets that. I think she's like, oh, no. Just let my son play.
Oh, just let my son play with your little beep, beep, boop, boop for a little while.
Exactly. It's just a beep, beep, boop, boop. What do you care if my son plays with it? It's just a beep, beep, boop.
He's not like most kids. He doesn't have little snotty fingers.
No. His cousin has a beep, beep, boop, boop. He's played with those before. No, he knows how to beep. He knows how to boop. She smiled and set her hand out. The two women seated next to me looked at me as if they were also in disbelief. So she's like, give it to me? She put her hand out. All right, come on. I'm sorry, I said again. I just don't feel comfortable. I brought it for me. How old are you? The woman said with a huff, retracting her hand and slapping it on her lap.
I have to say, excellent question, because I thought that from the very beginning. Good thinking, Mom.
Wow. How old are you? Oh, she, I love retracting her hand and slapping it on her lap. How old are you? She smacks her ass.
How old are you?
How old are you?
How old are you?
Oh, yeah. How old are you? How old are you? Oh.
Tell me again.
Tell me again how fucking old you are. You're gonna let my son play with the Nintendo Switch.
Oh, say no again to me. Say it again. This is all just an elaborate plot.
Let my son play Mario. Yeah, you're gonna let my son play Mario.
This is just the most elaborate plot so this mom can get off on an airplane.
I only squirt one way.
And that's going up in the air, and my son getting to play a Nintendo Switch that isn't his.
I can't come unless my son plays with adults' toys. So she goes, I'm 25, but I don't see how that matters, I replied, growing exceptionally uncomfortable. Well, she began, clearly sounding agitated. My son is 8, and this is an hour and 45-minute flight, and he just wants something to do. He can't see it for a few minutes. It's like, no, this isn't like your family member. This isn't like your, like... I don't understand this. This is so weird. What is the thought process of, oh, my son can just have what you have because he's 8?
I know I've been defending the mom, but I will say, if you know that it's going to be this long of a flight and you don't want your kid to be bored, I don't know, why not like pack him a box of crayons and a coloring book or something?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Like, why didn't you bring anything for him?
Yeah.
Why is it this other person's, responsibility to now entertain your son? See, here's what the mom needed to do. She needed to get some headphones, take out, her phone, access YouTube, put on the Working Crass podcast for her son.
Yes.
He would have been entertained for at least an hour.
Yes.
And sometimes 45 minutes
Absolutely.
if you watch 2 episodes.
If you have kids at home, you're going on a flight, you need to entertain your kids, just plop a Working Crass podcast right on your phone and have them listen. We will entertain your kids.
We'll entertain
Hey,
your
kids, let's talk about trans people. Hey, kids.
We'll entertain them. We'll indoctrinate them.
Hey there, kids. You want to know what really happened on 9/11?
All right, kids. Today we're going to learn why jet fuel doesn't melt steel beams. All right, kids. Was it really 6 million? That's the question we're going to answer today.
All right, kids. Today's topic is your teacher a groomer?
All right, kids. How flat is the Earth?
The answer, very.
And we'll prove it. These are all upcoming episodes. So stay tuned.
All right, kids. Who wants to play with bugs? We just teach them bad things to like mess up your home. All right, kids. Who wants to make mommy angry?
Here's what you do, kids. Go up to your mommy and ask her, did Jeffrey Epstein kill himself?
All right, kids, you want to do something real fun? Go find a stick and shove it up your mommy's ass. She will scream. All right, kids, you want to have a good time? Go kick your dad right in his gonads. Do it and you'll win 500 Barney bucks. We're the perfect podcast for kids.
Perfect podcast for a kid on a flight.
Hey, kid, are you on a flight right now? Go find the pilot and tell him you're taking this thing down.
Hey, kid, here's something fun. Ask the person next to you if you can play their Nintendo Switch. Actually, don't even ask. Just demand to have it. Hold out your hand.
I do love that this mom is like, you, give my son your game. You, my son's thirsty. Give him your drink.
You, give him your snack.
Yeah.
You, fluff his seat.
You, get over here and blow him.
That's what she said to the flight attendant.
You, get him some ice cream. We don't have any ice cream. Make some.
Go out into the clouds and turn them into ice cream.
My son is feeling faint. Fan him. You feed him grapes.
You will chew the grapes and spit them directly into his mouth like a mama bird to a baby bird.
Oh, my God. Okay, so she goes, no, I'm not comfortable with that. I'm sorry, but I'm expecting you to understand since this is my property. I put my head down and unpaused my game as to ignore anything she had further to say. Are you serious? She seemed genuinely livid. Well, insert child's name here. What do we want the child's name to be?
Sebastian.
Well, Sebastian, sorry, buddy. Not everyone knows how to share.
This mom, she's got lines. She's hilarious.
All right, stick them up. I want every penny in your wallet. Yeah, I want every single dollar you got. You give me all the cash you have. No. I guess you just don't know how to share. Sorry. I guess I just expected people to be nice and share.
I guess you just want my kid to go hungry.
The woman said to the kid next to her, her child started whining and kicking the seat in front of him.
Good.
Thanks for this, she said to me as if it was her fault. Thanks a lot. Now he's pissed.
You did this.
Look what you did.
You are kicking that seat. I hope this mom just got up and just starts marching back and forth down the aisle, just be like, this bitch did it. She caused the problem.
She goes, a sweet kid just wants to share with you and you're being ignorant about it.
Look at him. He is out of his mind. He's never kicked a seat like that before in his life.
Before I even opened my mouth, one of the ladies in my row snapped back at her. How dare you bring that energy on this plane? She told you so kindly that she doesn't feel comfortable with passing her electronics to a stranger. The mother wasn't having it. She's an adult and could share with a child for a few minutes of a nearly 2-hour flight. You should have brought something for him to do then, the woman in my row responded. It shut her up good. At the end of the flight, the woman collected her luggage from the overhead bins and said, I hope you're happy and going against God's word, not sharing with a child.
It's good.
I think even God would be like, let the woman play her own video game. What's wrong? Bring something for your own child, bitch. Some of the people around us giggled. I'm sure they all overheard the drama at the beginning of the flight. I've come across some entitled people in my life, but this strange lady took the cake and gave it to her son.
Well, she didn't just take it. She demanded.
Wow.
She demanded the cake.
I wish I could have seen this. That's hilarious.
I have to say.
Where was this going against God's word? One of the comments, thou shalt not hog the Nintendos, Corinthians 4:20. That's fantastic. Wow. Now, that is an entitled parent. That's crazy. Maybe we should go through some of these at some point. I'm telling you, I like doing these on podcasts. This is fun. Because, like, why I hate my grandparents' neighbor.
That's just a funny title.
My entitled mom is mad at me for telling my stepdad about her trying to move out with me. What?
What?
I don't know. Ex-friend, I am assuming, is EF. Thinks he can waltz back into my life as he pleases.
What's the weirdest thing that's ever happened to you on a flight?
Nothing too weird. I had one flight where I felt real sick, like I was going to vomit, and I was sitting next to a pregnant woman, and I was just like, oh, no, I'm going to vomit all over her belly, and she's going to get mad at me. And I don't know why that was my thought. There's plenty of other places to vomit. I don't know why my thought was I was going to go, excuse me. But
you should have leaned over and be like, excuse me, I need to vomit on your belly. Do you mind?
actually, one of the weirdest things, I was on a flight to Vegas for work, and I remember the people behind us talking about something about Asians and like how like they're sick and tired of all the Asians in our country. I think that's what I remember. I remember some like anti-Asian hate stuff.
Yeah, I think it was the same mom.
It might have been the same mom. It's like, Nintendo, that's a piece of garbage. Just give it to my son. But that was kind of crazy. I really wish I could remember what was talked about. I need to journal more so I can remember shit that happens. Because I remember talking to the people at work afterwards, like, hey, the people behind me on the flight were just shitting on Asians for some reason. What about you? Weirdest thing on a flight?
Were you with me on the flight where a lizard crawled out of the backpack?
That was my, That was my backpack. A lizard.
Like
that's pretty weird.
That's one of the craziest things. A lizard crawled out of your backpack. And then I remember I think we were sitting next to, like, he just looked like, well, typical kind of Gen Z.
Yeah.
He must have been like 16.
Yeah.
16 or 17. But the kid looked so disinterested in everything other than like, his whatever was on his phone, his TikTok feed.
Yeah.
And then as soon as that lizard came out of your bag, he like jumped up out of his seat and pulls out his phone and was like, "Whoa,
lizard dude! Lizard on plane!" I was shocked. My backpack got all the way through security with a lizard in it. Like no one noticed I had a live lizard in there. We went from Texas back to Chicago, and I guess it got in there. And my folks' place has a lot of like geckos and lizards and stuff.
And one crawled in and just decided,
he took the flight of his life. Flight of his life.
Flight of his life, and he's probably a TikTok star now.
yeah, probably. All right, cool. So here's another one. This has gone a while. We might not even get to all of our stories here.
We're going to get to all of them.
All right.
We're going to get to all of them. Don't worry about it.
We're
going to get to all of them.
Well, I got to edit this tonight and put it up tomorrow, so...
well, you can do it.
All right.
Believe in yourself.
Well, it's not belief. It's just the amount of time necessary to do a thing. I'm running out of it. It's getting late.
I say, if you believe in yourself, then time will elongate.
That's easy for you to say. You don't have to do the work.
You create your own time in your own mind.
Oh, my God. Am I the asshole for leaving my girlfriend's graduation early? Okay. This one was posted on our Am I the Asshole?
So we're going to decide if this guy's the asshole or not.
Yes. So this guy's a 31-year-old male, and his girlfriend, 26 years old, recently graduated with her master's degree. That's impressive. Congratulations to the girlfriend. She invited me to the ceremony along with her parents, who I have not met, sister, and best friend. I was excited to meet her parents after about 6 months of us being together. She suggested we have dinner with them the night before, but I was nervous to meet them, and I said, let's wait for the graduation. So it's a group thing to make things less awkward. Oh, I see. Her parents also invited us to lunch after her graduation, but my girlfriend knew I was nervous and told them she's planning to go out and celebrate with some classmates instead. Okay, fair. Although you should just go to the dinner with them, I would say. You don't need to skip that. Just because you're nervous, you should still go meet the parents, but that's okay. Anyway, the night before her graduation, her sister and her friend all slept over at my girlfriend's place. My girlfriend left early to meet with her classmates, and I drove there with her sister and friend. We met up with her parents in the stand to watch her graduate. I brought with me a Tiffany box with a very expensive necklace for my girlfriend as a gift. I wanted her parents to see the box so they'd know I'm the kind of guy who can afford to give their daughter a good life. This already has some weird. It's the thing when you're okay, 6 months you've been dating. There's just something about like very obviously plotting your life together too early. that is like a big kind of like red flag, I think.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, maybe they'll take this completely fine, but it's like, I want to show her parents I'm the kind of guy. Well, then just be yourself if you're that kind of guy. You know what I'm saying? Do you need to make a grand gesture to show gesture? Did I say gesture?
Yeah, you play the game gestures.
No.
With their parents.
You don't need to make a grand gesture to show that you're the kind of guy to give their daughter a good life. Because if you're the kind of guy to give their daughter a good life, then you would just be that person. Like, it's always weird when people take an action to show they're the type of person who does a thing. It's like, then you're not the type of person who does a thing. Because you had to make the conscious decision.
Right, you're acting.
Yes, you're acting.
I'm trying to give the appearance of something that I might not be.
Yes, that's correct. And
therefore making the action inauthentic.
Yeah. And then it kind of feels like, well, I don't know, it's dishonest.
Yeah. Definitely.
But I don't know. A lot of women expect too much, too, and then expect you to try all the time. So you're a very different woman, though. You're a Gablorkian, and you're from planet Gablorkia.
I know. Immediately when this started, my first thought was, wow, this person is friends with their classmates? Lame. But then my second thought was, well, what is she getting her master's in? Because this could really sway my opinion on whether or not leaving her graduation early is a big deal or not. Because if it's like a master's in like women's studies, or like lesbian dance theory, whatever, I say leave that early. It doesn't matter in the long run. That doesn't matter.
Oh my god!
But if she's like getting a master's in like engineering or bio mechanics or
buy her 2 necklaces.
Yeah, buy her 6 necklaces. I feel like that you should stay.
So I held it with me. He held the box with him, the gift. Anyway, they shook my hand and then proceeded to barely speak to me the whole graduation. Her mom was sitting closest to me, and she was constantly whispering in the sister's ear in Korean, and her sister would translate for me and the friend. I know her mom speaks some English, but apparently she prefers Korean. Her dad barely spoke at all. They did not even comment that I had the Tiffany box. They didn't even say anything about that box that I brought. Well, it's almost like I wasted my time even buying it because no one noticed. It's like, that's also very telling, is it not? They didn't even notice that I was doing something nice, so why do I even do nice things? It's like, well, then you're not the kind of guy that does nice things.
Right. Also, does this person speak Korean? Because if not, how do you know that they didn't say in Korean, oh, he has a box from Tiffany's?
Oh, right. Definitely. Yeah.
Or he has
she
like
kept
a
speaking
jewelry box.
She kept just talking. I didn't know what she was saying, but she didn't even bring up my Tiffany box.
It's like she could have in
and she's
Korean.
Like,
you don't know.
Sami Tiffany box. That's way more Japanese sounding than Korean.
Annyeong.
After about an hour of this, I decided to leave. Oh my God, after about an hour of this.
After about an hour of these Koreans speaking their goddamn Korean language, gosh, I just was like, I cannot take any more of this Korean.
After about an hour of nobody paying attention to me and nobody looking at me at this graduation.
Gosh, after an hour of this family just enjoying being with each other and not listening to me and talking about how great I am.
I just sit through them not talking about how great I was. I just like, after about an hour of this, I decided to leave. Really, that is insane. After about an hour of them not bringing up my Tiffany box, I said, I've had enough. I told her sister I'm going to use the bathroom and never came back. That night, my girlfriend called me and asked where I went. I turned off my phone after leaving because I was so upset. But when I turned it on, I instantly had a call from her. And that's where the screenshot ends here. But that's wild. I mean, that's just an insane reason. So,
asshole? Is he the asshole?
Yes. It's weird that he has to ask here, too. Then you kind of know, that you are. Because you have to ask, am I the asshole? With what's written here, yes, you're the asshole. Because the point of the graduation is to celebrate your girlfriend. And that was him making it all about himself. and the fact that he didn't get the recognition that he wanted, where it's not a day of recognition for him, it's a day of recognition for her. And the way that you can show that you would be somebody who can give their daughter a good life would be to put your feelings aside for a moment and instead just be there for the girlfriend. And the fact that he couldn't put his feelings aside and has to leave early, I would assume, doesn't impress the girlfriend very much, you know? I'm assuming that after this it gets a little worse, because it's like, you left early. Like, that's so... Oh, where's my boyfriend? Oh, yeah, he left. He said he was going to the bathroom, and he just disappeared, and he never came back. And then, you know, she has to ask him, and he's like, well, they didn't even... I got that Tiffany ring and a Tiffany necklace in a box, and they didn't say anything about it. They just kept saying a ching-chong and ring-rong and stuff, and I hate that shit. You know I hate Koreans.
Oh, my
Okay,
God.
we're throwing on a lot of racist shit that this guy
Well,
wasn't.
he probably is, so...
She kept constantly whispering things in Korean.
The worst of all the Asian languages. He said that, not me.
Yes, this is not our opinion. This
We
is what
didn't
this
say that.
guy's
This guy
opinion is
said
of
that.
Koreans. We're saying he's racist. You should find him, find out where he works,
You
call
should-
his
you should-
employers, find out where his kids go to school, harass them.
Find the bathroom that he's still hiding in to this day.
Oh, my God.
I just hope that he's like, I live here now. I'm never coming out.
I hope somebody commented on this. Hey, man, great work on the Tiffany box.
That's all that man needed was, I appreciate you. That
Hey,
was
man.
a nice gift.
Hey, man, you really showed that you're the kind of guy who can afford to give that Korean couple's daughter a good life. You really showed it and proved it.
You think if they just were like, oh, very nice, that he would have been like, I'll stay.
I'll stay. Yeah, he really did want a good boy. Good boy.
Good boy, such a good boy.
Not that this person, I'm not saying that this person never deserves recognition. Everyone deserves recognition for the things that they do. And I think that we're not saying that this is...
I don't know. I think this boy should have, had the president of the school call his name, have him walk
They
across
keep saying everyone else's name, and no one said my name.
and give him a signed diploma for having the best Tiffany box that one could present to another woman's parents.
And those are
And
our
then-
graduates with master's degrees. And for our final presentation, the man with the most expensive Tiffany box, the Best Boyfriend Award, goes to whatever this guy's name is.
Yeah, and then the entire arena all stands up and applauds and chants my name over and over. And they lift me up and sing for He's a Jolly Good Fellow.
No one even sang for me. After about an hour of no one even singing for me, I said, I've had enough.
Not one person decided to write a song about me. I said, I'm out of here.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'll agree with you. The guy's the asshole. However, caveat, if I find out that the degree wasn't something stupid, that may sway me a little differently. He's still an asshole, but it's
for
it's
buying
less
her a
egregious.
necklace in the first place.
That's asshole.
You'd never give a gender studies scholar a necklace.
Oh no! Oh no! You messed up.
It's like when you give a mouse a cookie.
Yeah.
When you give a gender studies scholar a gift.
No, you can't give a gender studies scholar a gift because one, that's reinforcing capitalism, and two, it suggests that it's protective patriarchy, that you have to
That's right.
be her protector, her provider, and she is all woman. She can provide for herself, except when she doesn't want to, and she wants you to give her things. That's what I know.
That's funny. Cool. So we're going to move on from this here. But before we do, I'm just going to do our plugs here really quick. Like I said, Working Crass podcast comes out every single Monday now. So you're going to get us once a week. We're going to do this more often. So it's going to get better and better and better and better and funnier and funnier and funnier and funnier until you can't breathe anymore. But what we would really appreciate you doing, if you haven't already, go follow us on Instagram at Working Crass Pod. And then go subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can find our YouTube, Spotify, everything on that Instagram account at Working Crass Pod. There's links to everything that we do, or, just look up Working Crass Podcast on YouTube, go subscribe to it. We are a small show now, and we are trying to grow. So if you enjoy this podcast, please, please, please do your part and help us grow this thing. Give back by simply subscribing, sharing with friends, and cool people. No lamos, okay? Share if you're going to share a podcast, share it with cool people, okay? People who can,
Yeah, cool people, no lamos.
No
and
lamos.
The next Southwest Airlines flight you take, remember, look at the person next to you who's holding a Nintendo Switch or any type of, expensive electronic, and demand that they hand it over to you and your child. And that's something that the Working Crass podcast, we really endorse.
But we do really want to grow the show. We have a lot of big ideas for growing it even bigger. You will start to see some guests on Working Crass podcast by the end of the month.
Yeah.
I'll have my sister on the podcast later in the month, and that'll be really fun. And maybe we'll keep having guests. Maybe we'll have some comedian guests. Maybe we'll just pick a homeless person off the streets of Chicago and interview them.
Hell yeah.
Because that kind of sounds fun. That would be interesting. Maybe we'll have business owners and all kinds of fucking interesting people. So stay tuned for that. Stick tuned. Sounds like a cool Nickelodeon show.
Stick tunes.
Stick tunes. Stick tunes.
Stick tunes.
They're little sticks and the people, they're stick tunes. Anyway, Working Crass Pod on Instagram. Thank you. Moving on. Lauren, you sent me this Buzzfeed.
Yes, I did. I sent you this because I thought it would be fun to scroll through this list because my assumption is this will probably be funny for us.
Yeah.
But BuzzFeed does lists like these all the time. Like there's probably 100 of these that BuzzFeed has put together at this point, but this is just one of the more recent ones, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought it would be fun to go through this. The 20 insensitive moments from this person's favorite movies and TV shows growing up that make him go, yikes.
Today. This is by Jeremy Hayes at the Buzzfeed staff.
Good old Jeremy.
Now, of course, full disclosure, everyone knows that if you're on the Buzzfeed staff, you do have to sacrifice your first child. You do have to go to Epstein's Island and, perform pedophilic acts. There's all kinds of things that as a Buzzfeed writer, you are required to do. So just before we go into this, you do have to know that he's a cult. He's a cult.
He's a cultist.
A cultist.
He did pledge his allegiance to the One World Order.
Yes.
I believe he did have to blow Charles Schwab.
The
World Economic Forum.
That's right.
Everybody knows that about
Buzz. Won't suck itself.
That's why we have the BuzzFeed crew come and suck them for us.
Suck them for us, BuzzFeed.
Jeremy.
Jeremy. All right, so he says, I grew up on a lot of weird and random... anybody who uses random to describe, like, a thing...
And non-ironically.
Oh, my God. Immediately, I hate that. Because usually the thing that they're describing as random isn't random. No. It's like, it's funny because it's it's, like, thoughtful, and there's, like, some thought behind the punchline. They go, oh my God, that's so random, because like comedy usually has an element of what's the word where you expect something, but then it kind of takes you off your feet and something unexpected happens. Surprise. Comedy has a surprise element.
It has an incongruous element.
Yes, that's correct. It goes where you don't think it's going to go. So that makes you think, oh, that's like just random. It just like goes somewhere like random. It's random. It doesn't make sense. It's like random. Like I wouldn't think of it. So like random. I grew up on a lot of weird and random movies / TV shows. By the way, if anybody's ever seen Chris Lilly or heard of Chris Lilly, go look up Summer Heights High.
Yeah.
There's a great character, and she describes everything as, that's so random. They range from action to horror, musicals to raunchy comedies. My film and TV shows tastes were all over the place as a child. Not every movie and TV show I watched in my youth has aged well, though. So I compiled a list of moments from my favorite things growing up that don't really feel appropriate, and some that are just flat out awful.
I decided to make a blacklist of all the movies and TV shows that I've ever watched that are now considered problematic.
So this is pretty much every article that's come out since 2016. It's just he's going to fit 20 of them in.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is every article. It's like something everyone loves and why it's problematic.
You know, he sent like 150 of them in. They're like, Jeremy, we got to cut it down. We can't.
Yes.
It's too long. It's too much.
It's really
Even
just
for BuzzFeed. It's too much, Jeremy.
It's so easy to do this too. Mm-hmm. It's like this requires no talent. Just go 20 to 30 years back in time, find when people were saying things that aren't socially acceptable today, and because social norms change always, and then just make an article about it and be like, can you believe? And really, nobody's really bothered by it. It's you pointing it out that reminds people and makes people think of it in a way that bothers them.
Yeah, yeah. And they always act like they're so shocked that somebody could have said this at that time period. And you're like, how is that shocking? It's not shocking.
Not at all. Warning, this post contains discussions of rape, sexual assault, racism, and ableism. Sounds hilarious.
Yeah.
Sounds funny. So far, this article sounds funny.
That's also the warning we put on Working Crass Podcast.
Yes, Working Crass Podcast. Warning, this podcast contains discussion of rape, sexual assault, racism, and ableism. Anyway.
All right, so let's go through this list.
All right, so Newt Gunray's accent in Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, is extra bad when you learn who voices him. Now, I don't remember this character. Is this something I should look up?
No.
No?
No, why?
Well, I just don't remember this.
I don't think you need to look it up. It's probably not an important character.
So Star Wars movies have a plethora of stereotypical depictions of different groups of people. Do they, or are they aliens?
I'm pretty sure they're aliens.
But for me, none is worse than the... Are they like... You know those Wookiees and how they are all brown? It's like tells us more about the person writing this than how people...
You know the Wookiees are brown and hairy.
Oh my God. Like, this is stereotypical. And it's like nobody thought that at all. None is worse than the antagonist of the first episode, Viceroy Newt Gunray. British actor Silas Carson, who also plays Ki-Adi-Mundi, cone-headed Jedi, uses a voice that could only be described as someone trying to mimic an Asian accent. While I love the practicality of Gunray's character design, the character itself feels like a walking stereotype. This doesn't even look like an Asian person, though.
I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say, if you see an alien creature that looks like that, and they're speaking an alien dialect, and your immediate thought is, oh my God, that's an Asian stereotype. Yeah. I think you might have the problem.
Yeah. I have a feeling if I go back and watch this, the alien is just like, we have to save the ship. And he's like, is that an Asian stereotype? I don't know. Maybe maybe they get there. It's like, I'm so excited to fight the Star Wars. Star Wars is a terrific movie. I'm so happy to be in it.
I told you, Star Wars, $5.
I'm supposed to be bad guy. Okay, I'll be bad guy now. Hello, I'm bad guy. I mean, if that was, I think episode 1 of Star Wars, The Phantom Menace would be a much better movie. You know, people don't like those prequels, but I'd say it would have been 10 times better if it was more stereotypically racist. Now, I love this one. Number 2, Saturday Night Live making light of Boy Scouts being sexually assaulted, and the Canteen Boy sketch is really tasteless. SNL has always pushed the envelope, but this skit definitely went too far. We have Adam Sandler doing Adam Sandler things as the recurring character, Canteen Boy, but we also get Alec Baldwin, his Scoutmaster. In short, the comedy revolves around the Scoutmaster trying to seduce his Boy Scout. And I'm just confused as to why that's not funny.
because it's making light of pedophilia and sexual assault, Joshua.
But
It's not taking it seriously. It's making fun of it.
But it's the way it's performed. It's not saying that sexual assault it's okay. It's not a promotion of sexual assault. It's the way that Adam Sandler kind of plays that goofy, innocent character, and the way that he's kind of being manipulated by the Alec Baldwin character. That's funny. Like, the audience sees what's happening.
It's also pointing out that something really dark happens in an environment that's supposed to be light and fun.
Yes. That's right. That's correct.
And that, like, something that's even as beloved and so ingrained in Americana, like Boy Scouts, can have something really dark behind the curtain.
That's correct. And to be fair, I don't remember this being my favorite sketch on SNL. I've seen the sketch, but I don't remember it being the funniest or the like most laugh out loud, crazy, hilarious sketch. So I'm not going to like defend it as the funniest thing in the world, but it's not tasteless, and it didn't go too far.
Well, it's
going
not
too far would be like casting a real child, and then he puts his penis inside of the child. And that would be going too far on live television. That's too far.
Yeah, that's too. Can't show peepees on live television.
I don't condone that. I don't condone pedophilic acts on television or in private. Okay, so I'm just saying that would be an example of going too far.
Yeah. Well, they write as like this is objectively tasteless when really it's just not to this particular. It's not to Jeremy's taste.
Well, that's the problem with all of these
It's not
articles.
to Jeremy's taste, but to other people, they do find this funny, and they can see the humor in something dark.
Well, all of these articles, that's what every one of these is this is unfunny. This sketch is tasteless. This is it's taking an opinion statement and saying it exists as this. You remember those little those things that you would do in elementary school, and it would be opinion or fact, and then it would just be like
I've given activity like that to my college students,
and they do well or they do poorly.
Well, it depends on the semester. I've had semesters where they ace the thing, and I'm like, way to go, guys. And then I've had semesters where I weep. I weep for the state of humanity.
What are the things? I remember do you remember the things that they say are true that are obviously opinions?
It'd be like, I don't know, something like, democracy is the best form of government. And then they'd be like, true. Or fact.
Yeah. And then that's clearly, an opinion.
Yeah. Although it's an opinion it's an opinion that we can agree with. Democracy probably is the best form of government, but the statement in and of itself is technically an opinion statement.
Because it's best. What is the best? And we can't.
Yeah, that's a subjective term.
Exactly. It's a difference between objective and subjective.
Yeah. Which, if I'm thinking about what was actually on the assignment, it probably wasn't democracy is the best. It's probably something like socialism. Is the best economic system.
And they're like fact,
because all of my other teachers say it so.
Yeah.
That's really what it comes down to. For a lot of it, it's fact because I've heard people say this over and over, so it must be fact.
Yeah. America was founded on racism. Fact. And it's like,
fact.
Yeah, that's kind of an opinion. Okay, this one I love. I love this one. And now that you're my wife, we gotta start talking about Borat here. We should watch Borat on our anniversary every year because you're my wife.
Yes.
Number 3, the jokes Borat directed at Kazakhstan take the film from satire into stereotyping. So pretty much every line of Borat is kind of about the fact that he's from Kazakhstan and he's doing a stereotype of a Kazakhstan character. So you could say that the entire film is stereotyping.
Well, anybody who listened to Borat and thought that there was any grain of truth in what he was saying, and that could in any way be the reality of Kazakhstan,
Yeah.
they're just stupid.
Yes.
You're just stupid if you think that. Come on.
Yep, that's
Come on.
correct.
It clearly was farcical and satirical from every line out of his mouth when he's joking about like how, my wife, she has nicest pubis in whole town. we pay for apples with pubis hairs. Like, come on. Like, it's not stereotyping. It's clearly like just a joke.
Well, I love when they kind of admit this too. While the movie itself is meant to use offensive humor to put our own ways and biases under a microscope, it is at the cost of dragging the poor and very real people of Kazakhstan. I love it. The poor and gross.
The poor and disgusting
people of Kazakhstan. So I find this movie just about unwatchable because of the stereotypes. I will neither confirm nor deny that whenever I sit in a new chair, I say King of the Castle to myself.
Oh.
So you keep quoting this unwatchable film, huh?
So unwatchable that I quote it like all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's totally disgusting and like completely racist and horrible, but I quote it.
Yeah. This is just pretty insane. It includes stereo. I don't know. It's like he says exactly what the point of the movie is. The movie itself is meant to use offensive humor to put our own ways and biases under a microscope. So I don't understand that at the cost of dragging the poor and very real people of Kazakhstan. Who in Kazakhstan is distraught over their depiction in the film Borat? Well, to be fair, a lot of their government was pretty angry about it, but it's like, don't they live in like, I don't know. It's not. Well, they have bigger things to worry about than some film.
Well, I would
and
say
who's going to Kazakhstan like bullying people over like Borat?
Yeah, I would think the government of Kazakhstan was probably annoyed because it was so silly that it made Kazakhstan look very goofy, and
Yes.
that could perhaps deter tourism in some ways. But also it's because I think Kazakhstan is probably in some ways not the freest of governments, and they want information to be like it has to follow a certain narrative, and if it doesn't follow our very carefully crafted narrative about our country, we can't let it get out.
And that's a really big part of why he picked Kazakhstan specifically, why he when the government did speak out against him, he went and gave a speech at the White House thanking the Kazakhstan government and saying that they should take Borat down because it's hateful. Like he's making fun of them too because they don't want they don't want comedy. They don't want to be made fun of. So it's kind of poking fun at a corrupt government, which is what we appreciate, what we want. Yeah. It's not really poking fun at the Kazakh people, really.
But I bet this also got people like Googling Kazakhstan for the first time.
I bet Kazakhstan tourism went up from Borat, not down. 100%.
And I'm sure that people were like Googling it, trying to learn about it because they thought it was funny and they wanted to see, is this real? And then they learn that it's not real and they read about it. Yeah. Yep. But what I've learned so far is that aliens should have completely monotone voices so that they cannot be in any way associated to any particular race.
Yeah.
I've learned that you cannot make fun of people from other countries in a satirical way because that is it's wrong and it's stereotyping, and never, ever joke about things that happen in the Boy Scouts. Ever. Ever.
Yeah.
What happens in the Boy Scouts stays in the Boy Scouts.
Here's a fun rule that I like that I learned here in Chicago from a great improv teacher.
If it's funny, don't do it. No, I'm just kidding.
From an actually great improv teacher who said, if it can happen in real life, it can happen in comedy.
Yeah.
Comedy, 100%. Theater, drama, any any entertainment medium, if it can happen in real life, it can happen there too. We're reflecting real life back to people. And that recognition is what makes people laugh.
Yeah.
So that means that everything should be allowed, and everything should be allowed to be attempted too, even if it's done poorly.
Yep.
So here's another one. The number 4 is the just boys being boys tropes in Grease make anything beyond the songs almost unwatchable. Now, I would say it's not those tropes that make Grease unwatchable. It's the fact that it's a terrible movie. The dialogue is garbage. The songs suck. The acting is really bad. It's a horrible film. I hate Grease. I used to watch Grease a lot, but it really confused me. And I'll say, to be honest, even when I was a child watching Grease, there was a bit of tell me more. Did you put up a fight? It was a little rapey. Yeah, Grease was always a little rapey, but again,
if Jeremy liked the song, so
yes, that's correct. That's correct.
I just want to say, don't hate me, but I kind of like Grease. I think it's funny. I think it's cute in its own way.
Yeah, for sure.
I find it to be. It has a charm of its own.
It's of its time too. So here's the thing, and like I said, if it can happen in real life, it can happen. In film or comedy or drama or anything. It could happen in art. This movie is of its time. The just boys being boys tropes, those were realities of that time. For sure.
And it's
100%.
Also portraying the 50s.
Yes, exactly.
So if you didn't think that happened in the 50s, I feel like that's just on you, my friend.
This was the reality of high school at the time. And was a little of it rapey? Yes. That was the truth of it too. If it makes you uncomfortable, that's what reality was.
You have to read this line down here. The movie itself idolizes the T-Birds who, come on, are really just a bunch of degenerates.
Yes, that's the point. That's the point. They are degenerates.
Okay, principal.
The FBI should figure out which kids mooned everyone at the dance any day now. LOL.
Jeremy is such a narc.
Yeah, Jeremy, and also,
this is such
I don't think that Jeremy, the writer of this article, these little LOL, kind of joking about how they really like the movies as well. I don't think he cares about these things. I think he's just writing because he knows this is what gets clicks.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. He just wants a bunch of clicks on this.
Yeah,
and we're suckers, and we gave it to him.
That's true. That's true. We're getting a big portion of a podcast out of it. This is great because everyone talks about this. This is widely known. The love story in Big gets worse the more I think about it. Then you're stupid because we all talked about this years ago. Why are you still thinking about it? This article's been written 1,000 times.
Yeah, Jeremy, you're late to the party.
Really late to the party. Now I think Jeremy's fucking retarded. Oh boy! So in Big, a young boy's wish backfires when he changes to become Tom Hanks. A grown adult.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't wish to become Tom Hanks. He wishes to be old.
Right. That's what he says. ... a grown adult.
Oh, I didn't read the rest of it. Sorry, Jeremy. When you start
ruined
talking,
Jeremy's joke.
I'm sorry. When Jeremy talks, I just start tuning out.
Yes, that's right. The story unfolds, and he eventually finds a love interest that he goes on to sleep with, and actually develops a strong romantic relationship with. Then they part ways, and he becomes young again, and he's left knowing he was a child all along. The romantic subplot is a creepy mess. Look, yeah, it is. So what? That was part of the appeal of the movie too. Here's another thing. Audiences like taboo subjects, and audiences like their characters to do bad things and to be a little wrong. Because if we watched movies and watched entertainment with everyone being nice and cordial all the time, we would be fucking bored. If all of entertainment was people supporting each other the whole time, nothing would be interesting. You want to see something that's a little raunchy. So yes, when you watch Big, the fact that he's a child, now he's a man, so he's having sex with a woman, but deep down he's actually still a child, and it's a little uncomfortable and raunchy and weird. That's why it's a big movie that everyone remembers. Is it uncomfortable? Yes, but it's allowed to be uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable then. It's not like this new thing where like, oh, they didn't even realize they were having like a kid sleep with the woman. No, they did. Like, that's the point. It's uncomfortable. Right?
I didn't find it uncomfortable.
Oh my God. Well, you like fucking kids, so. Jesus.
I was always confused why everybody was so impressed when he played chopsticks on the big piano thing.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, that's the easiest thing to play on the piano.
That is very easy to play on the piano.
I'd be like impressed if he did like Fly to the Bumblebees.
But don't they also do bum 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 ba-dum dun 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 dun.
Yeah, but even that's like really easy.
Ba-dum dun 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 dun. Da 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 da.
I'm not impressed.
Bitch. We're getting divorced.
I'm not impressed.
I'm divorcing you. Number 6, the brother Warren from There's Something About Mary is literally just a comedic punchline to make fun of people with disabilities. Yes, he has a retarded brother.
Joshua, retarded people should not be shown on television, in movies, at all.
Yeah.
Ever. That's what Jeremy wants. He wants a world where you never see them.
This feels like the most undebatable example of punching down. Now, let's talk about, because this always comes up, so let's talk about punching up and punching down. The biggest load of horse shit that somebody said once, and now everybody thinks that they're comedic, I don't know, researcher. They think that they're an academic of comedic research because they can spout off punching up and punching down.
Yeah.
That's punching up and that's punching down, and we only punch up and we never punch down. No. The whole point of comedy is that we're all the same. Everyone above you is at the same level of you. Everyone below you is at the same level of you. It's an equalizer. It puts everyone on the exact same plane, on the exact same playing field. You make fun of everyone equally because no one is special and no one is less than you either.
Yeah.
And if you see people that way, if you see people as greater than you and less than you, you're a psychopath. But you're also the person who is the quote unquote oppressor because you see people as less than you.
Yeah.
The comedian sees everyone as equal, as the human race, and what they do is, and that's why like the most offensive shows are like, I think Andrew Schultz is a great example of somebody who like has the most ethnically diverse like audience, because he equally makes fun of everyone, and they go there because they know that nobody's gonna treat them like they're special and can't be like made fun of or can't be laughed at. Everyone gets the jokes. Like
they're not treated like they're too fragile to be joked about, and they're also excited to be included because it's sometimes cool to see other people recognize patterns in your own group.
Right, exactly. And recognizing the way that we're different from each other is a good thing. Like that's a good thing to verbally do. It's fun. People find that fun. I don't know if you've we've watched those Conan travel specials, and one of the funnest things and the people in the different countries that he travels to that they seem to enjoy the most is him trying to learn their language and like trying to learn different words in their language. And he sounds like a buffoon doing it, but he's trying to adapt to their culture, and that's where they find humor in him fit in the little ways that he fails to do so. Or maybe he stereotypes, or maybe he makes an assumption that's wrong.
Yeah.
And what's great is they enjoy it. It's recognition to them. It's, oh, the white American guy knows about my culture. Wow. Usually white American people are afraid of my culture and they don't want to talk about my culture and they just don't talk to me and they stay away. I mean, that's why I think that like, I don't know. Anyway, I feel like places like Chicago, like the woker places where you can't talk about other cultures, are the most segregated. Like Chicago, I feel like is way more segregated than Texas.
Sure. For sure.
Where people think, oh, Texas, it's racist. They must have, completely different, bathrooms for white people and black people. It's like, no. Way more integrated than Chicago or any of the any of the woke cities, I would say. Very diverse.
Yeah.
But Nope. Chicago's the place to be with our queen, Lori Lightfoot. Anyway, I went on a rant there.
Yeah.
The manly love bathroom scene in Dumb and Dumber is a double dip of terrible humor. I do love. It's like Lloyd Christmas, Jim Carrey, finds himself in a bathroom stall that is marked for manly love when he is confronted by a rough, burly man he had screwed over earlier in the film. So not only is it, oh no, this man is gay humor, it's also, haha, Lloyd's about to get raped humor. Yikes. A lot of channels cut this scene, or at least in my teenage years, but man, it is really awful. I always thought this was hilarious. Because he fucks over the guy earlier, and then he finds him, and he's going to get fucked by him. That's funny. This one, I don't know. I don't see the problem. Again, it can happen in real life. It can happen in art.
This is a classic case of being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Exactly. Well, it literally is. He sees like graffiti on the wall that's like, be here 7 p.m. for manly love. And he looks at the clock and it's 7 p.m. and he's like, oh shit. Like it is the wrong place at the wrong time.
And like a complete like misunderstanding of the words.
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
It's supposed to be that. And it's like, it's also like the butt of the joke is they're making fun of Jim Carrey's character. He's the butt of the joke here.
Because he's stupid. He doesn't get what's going to happen.
They're not like making fun that the other guy is gay. They're making fun of Jim Carrey for being stupid and not knowing what the sign on the wall meant.
No, Lauren. Gay people shouldn't even be represented in films because it's offensive.
Yeah, it's super offensive. Don't.
That's what Jeremy thinks here.
Yeah.
He's like, this film had a gay man. Yikes. The grotesque dinner table in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom enforces biases against Indian food. You can throw the whole I didn't know there was a lot of biases against Indian food.
Indian food's delicious. I love Indian food.
You can throw the whole book of the depictions of Eastern culture in Temple of Doom. Sorry, I was doing that Star Wars character for a little while. In Temple of Doom. But the royal dinner scene sticks out to me. Again, it's inappropriate to paint Indian people as uncivilized people who eat gross foods. From chilled monkey brains to eyeball soup, it was an unnecessary touch to an already questionable treatment of Indian characters.
Again, because my understanding of Temple of Doom is that this wasn't all of India. This was a specific cult.
Yeah, it was a cult.
It was a cult.
I remember watching this with you, and I didn't think like, oh, is that what Indians do?
Yeah, so again, this is a case of, Jeremy, I think you might be the one with the problem here.
Absolutely.
If you looked at a specific cult and went, this is all Indians, uncivilized, gross, eating monkey brains.
Wow, so like, I guess this is what Indians do. That's like the thought process there.
Like, why would they show this? It's like, they're supposed to be an evil cult doing evil things.
That's correct. Now, this is my favorite because I love Back to the Future. The way Libyans are showcased as bloodthirsty terrorists in Back to the Future just feels wrong. So the whole point is that the Doc Brown has built a bomb for these terrorists, right? And then he steals some of the plutonium or whatever, and they get mad and they come after him because they're terrorists, because they hired someone to build a bomb. And it's like, why did they make those Libyans terrorists? It's like, well, who else to build a bomb for? I don't know.
They should have just been hard-working Libyan people who happen to have bombs.
And again, here's Jeremy's own racism coming to the forefront here. This one is more of a think about it from a kid's perspective moment. I wouldn't have been able to point to Libya on a map as a kid, but if I had heard the country's name, my movie-loving kid mind would have gone to Back to the Future. So what he's saying is, all I know about Libyans is from the movie Back to the Future. I don't even know where it is on a map. It's like, that's not our problem. That's not society's problem.
That's your
problem. That's not Back to the Future's problem. That's your problem.
That's your problem. You should have done what I did as a kid and train yourself on geography of the world and learn every country capital. Memorize them by heart.
What's the capital of Libya?
Tripoli.
Wow, very nice.
You're
very
welcome.
quick. And what's the capital of Kazakhstan?
Astana, I think. Or it might be something different now because they renamed it after the guy who passed, who was like the former president.
Oh.
So now it's like Nur Sultan something.
Oh,
But
yeah.
it used to be Astana, I believe.
Okay.
When Borat was on, it was Astana.
I see. Now,
And I'm probably mispronouncing that, but
no, he said Astana. Astana Almaty when he sings the national anthem. Anyway,
but anyway, yeah, I love when Jeremy's racism comes out.
I know.
Honest, that's the best.
No, it's great. It's really great. This is another really, really great one here. The twist in Ace Ventura: Pet Detective is so inappropriate that it basically ruins what is a hilarious movie. Yeah, this one is on every list. It really is, and I'm so sick of seeing this because it's another example of if it exists in real life, it can exist in art and film. It turns out that the bad person here is a trans person, and that's like the big twist at the end. You've seen Ace Ventura, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Ventura is an icon to most 90s boys, but his reaction to the Einhorn twist really falls flat today. This movie is ridiculous and filled with genuinely hilarious visual gags, but this scene is such a red flag, especially considering the struggles of trans people and the threat of violence that many of them face. Yeah, definitely. Because I actually saw a list recently, Lauren, of the amount of young trans people who have been threatened by violence, and the reason why was because of Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. And it was a big list. I mean, almost every act of violence against trans people, the aggressor said in a statement that Ace Ventura: Pet Detective inspired me to commit acts of violence against trans people. I don't know if you guys knew that or not. Just a fun fact. Ace Ventura: Pet Detective is why people commit violence against trans people. Mm-hmm. The Jim Carrey film from the 90s, Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, where he talks from his ass, inspired violence against trans people.
When he was talking through his ass, he was sending subliminal messages for young people to go out and commit acts of violence against transgender people. That's what his asshole said.
He was farting commands right out of his asshole. Mm-hmm. I don't understand.
That asshole was full of dog whistles. That's disgusting, vile.
This argument comes up all the time, and that comedy is the justification for people who assault trans people. Joking about trans people promotes the violence against trans people. Where is the evidence for that? Where's the study that shows the correlation between the two? Where are the attackers that have admitted that Dave Chappelle's stand-up special is their reason?
I don't need evidence and facts. I just know. I just feel it.
It's like I don't understand. I don't get this argument, and then it comes up everywhere. Mainstream outlets will claim that this is truth, that jokes about trans people lead directly to the death of trans people. Never, ever any source to that claim. Ever.
I heard a gender studies professor say that, and so I believe that that's all the facts and evidence that I need.
There's no claim. There's no source for that. No study has ever shown a correlation between the two. That's an absurd. It's just, I don't like being made fun of because my whole thing is about my identity. And when you joke, it makes me feel
invalidated.
It makes me feel invalidated. And sorry, but that's what a joke does. And that's not violence against you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Your opinions being invalidated is not violence against you.
Yeah.
It hurts your feelings.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Having hurt feelings is not violence. Anyway.
But Ace Ventura is committing acts of violence.
I I guess so. Well, because number 11 is another Ace Ventura. The depiction of the African tribes.
Jeremy really doesn't like Ace Ventura.
He just Jim Carrey in general.
Yeah.
It's had Dumb and Dumber in both Ace Ventura films.
Wait till you get to his diatribe on the Grinch.
The depiction of the African tribes in Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls are, shall we say, pretty offensive. Okay, so I'm pretty sure, as far as I remember, these like African tribes in this movie were all depictions that were based on everything that National Geographic was airing on these African tribes that had no attachment to civilization. Like all of this was true. Like all of like human sacrifice and like a lot of the kind of like demonistic rituals, that was all like pulled from real documentaries of actual African tribes.
Or like pulled from, but maybe exaggerated.
Sure. Maybe exaggerated for comedic effect.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. I also,
isn't the whole thing, though, like he shows up and they call him the White Devil? Like, this is woke as far as I remember it.
Yeah, I also just feel like, again, if you're watching that and you just in your mind believe that this is what all African tribes are really like in some way, that, again, says more about you than it does the film. Because I never watch a film and see something like that and then... like I just go, that's fiction. Obviously, they're not really like that. I don't see why anybody would take any other.
Well, I love that he goes, the movie tries to make Jim Carrey the butt of the joke, but the visual stereotyping goes way too far. It's like, no, stop there. The movies, it was Jim Carrey was the butt of the joke here. They were not the butt of the joke. I also really like this. Even all the fake names are insensitive, like the Wachutu tribe. I feel like Jeremy was in a history class one day, and they brought up the Hutus and the Tutsis, and he goes, whoa, that's racist.
He's like, excuse me, stop making up names.
Yeah.
Can we
stop making up names?
Look, I can't identify Libya on a map, but I know that that's fake names that you just said. I'm not even convinced Libya is a real name, but I'm trying hard to believe there.
Oh my God.
That's Jeremy. That wasn't what I said. That was what Jeremy said. Just want to make that clear.
Even though Scare Tactics is scripted, it's totally mean-spirited and led to a wave of invasive prank humor. I've never watched Scare Tactics, but I'm assuming it was like a scare prank show. He said, I love horror, so growing up, I obviously enjoyed every second of the prank show Scare Tactics. That being said, I think it became so popular that viewers thought overly mean pranks were the way to go. In YouTube's early days, you saw prank accounts get huge using that same mean humor. I love this show, but actually, I kind of think it was a little mean, and now people who do this are mean.
Really, he's just upset that, like, I think this guy always wanted to have a prank YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And then because he saw other people's blowing up and then his never blew up. And so he's like, I don't like prank YouTube. It's mean.
Yeah. So I love it. So yes, the clips themselves are still hilarious, but the type of mean humor that trickled down from it is not my cup of tea. Well, at least he admits not his cup of tea. So someone else can like this. Yeah. But how is this problematic?
Yeah. Because also in order for these people to like even have their like episodes aired, they had to have signed off on it afterwards saying it's okay.
That's correct.
So they consented. So what's the problem?
That's correct.
They were okay with the mean-spiritedness, if you believe it's mean-spirited.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a weird one to me. I think it's really just because he has a grudge because he just never got to do his prank YouTube channel that he wanted to.
In one episode of King of Queens, Doug likes his wife Carrie better drunk, so he introduces cocktail night daily. I don't even see a problem with this.
I do. I see a problem. Why are you watching King of Queens?
Oh, yeah, you're right. You know what?
The biggest glaring issue of all.
Jeremy, this is the biggest problem.
You have terrible taste.
Why in the hell are you watching King of Queens?
Come on now.
Similar to the Seinfeld episode about Jerry giving his girlfriend pills so she can play with her vintage toys while she is passed out, or just has the wrong everything. In both scenarios, women are being drugged by their significant others. Not the best look. So in conclusion, oof. I hate this snarky, stupid shit. That's the thing is every comedy writer, every like comedy blogger, everyone who likes to blog about comedy also thinks that they're funny. And so they'll throw in like a joke in there, but it's always just some snarky like, so in total, yikes. It's like, so my take on this, wow.
It's so profound.
All I can say, no words.
All I can say is E equals MC oof.
Yeah, that was a pretty bad joke. In a temporarily banned Seinfeld episode, Kramer stomps on the Puerto Rican flag as a visual gag. Oh dear, not the precious Puerto Rican flag.
Wasn't he stomping on it because it accidentally caught on fire?
Yes.
So
Ends
how
with
is that
Kramer
problematic?
accidentally setting a Puerto Rican flag on fire and stomping it out in front of Puerto Ricans attending the festivities.
Yeah, he was putting out a fire.
Oh my God.
What would you have rather he let the Puerto Rican flag burn?
Well, he says, imagine the outraged reactions if this would have been, if this joke was done with a closer to home red, white, and blue flag.
It would have been equally hilarious, probably more so.
And it kind of wouldn't have worked too. Like the point is he's at like a Puerto Rican festival, and so he has to embarrass himself to the greatest degree.
But imagine him at like a 4th of July.
Sure. And then it would be the same thing.
Yeah.
It would be just as funny. It wouldn't be more funny
That's
or
what
less
I was
funny.
saying. Just as funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think more.
Shallow Hal tries to say beauty is in the eye of the beholder while leaning on every fat joke in the book. Oh, my God. Shallow Hal tries to balance fat jokes, but also says, oh, wait a minute. Fat people have feelings, too? So how is this wrong? How's that bad? So Shallow Hal, the whole thing is, like, kind of good, but, like, the way they do it is bad. So like the whole point is like that, you know, fat people have feelings and you shouldn't make fun of them, but like they make some fat jokes in it. It's like, well, so you're saying overall it's good.
No, like I'm saying overall, like they say fat people like have feelings, and like I just feel like it's just weird because they were like making jokes. So like how can they make jokes but also have feelings?
It's weird. They were like trying to use humor to make a point.
What?
I don't understand. Why don't you just say like fat people are beautiful and have feelings? Why do you have to use humor to like mask it? Because again, and I think this is a real thing, and some people think all humor is inherently mean. Like because you joked about a topic, it means that you don't like that thing, and it's like I don't feel that way. I feel like humor is a way that you can relate to other people, and humor is a way that you understand things that are different from you. It's not a mocking thing. It can be a mocking thing, but it's not necessarily. And a lot of people like to laugh about themselves. A lot of fat people like to laugh at fat jokes because it includes them. Like it's about them. Like it's like it. I don't know. It's being inclusive to joke about everyone equally. So I don't really understand. I know a lot of fat people that love to joke about their own fatness and selves and like to laugh at a fat joke. And just because some people don't like it and are insensitive or uncomfortable, it's like it doesn't mean that you can't.
Yeah. That's really great.
Yeah, okay. Not really. I'm losing my words. It's getting late here. We'll go through these quickly here. Rush Hour 2 can be kind of cringy overall, but Jeremy Piven stands out. These are just movie reviews now. The Rush Hour movies clearly pride themselves on their edgy humor, but they lean on anti-gay tropes throughout the trilogy. In the sequel, Jeremy Piven plays a clothing store worker. The crux of the joke is Carter feeling uncomfortable around an effeminate man talking about fashion, and when the worker goes near him, he flips out and acts disgusted simply because a man was trying to touch him.
This is a person who's never had any black friends.
Yeah.
I just want to, clearly...
Yeah, it's weird. Like the black character was weirded out by the gay character.
Like,
again, if it can happen in the real world, it can happen in art.
It's pretty common.
Yeah, it is pretty common.
Is it a great thing? No.
Again,
but it happens. Like it's.
again, the writer of this article is really just like, this movie should not contain any gay characters. It's like, so, and then this one is like another one that everyone knows already. The depiction of the singing crows in Dumbo are a little, let's say very racist. Fast-talking black crows appear in the film Dumbo. Their names are Jim, Dandy, Crow, Fats, Deacon, Dopey, and Specs. Jim Crow, Wink included above. Well, there you go. It doesn't even have to. Again, terrible writing. It's you don't even say what you're thinking or what your point is. You get, well, there you go.
Well, now this is Buzzfeed, so it's not going to be like a literary masterpiece. You know, it's not Pulitzer award-winning pieces here, but
you don't say.
Yeah, I do say. Also, I just like, really, a film from the 1940s?
Yeah.
Was racist?
Yeah.
What?
Big shocker.
Like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And here's my problem with Auschwitz is they killed Jews there. Like, yeah, we know.
We know, Jeremy. We get it.
Yeah. Yes. The depictions of black people in entertainment in the 40s
was racist.
Were a little racist.
I don't know if you know this, but the 40s was a little bit of a racist time.
Exactly. Oh, man.
Well, I mean, come on. Jeremy doesn't know where Libya is on a map. He doesn't understand American history. I think really he's lost.
That's the problem, is he's just so damn stupid. MXC on Spike TV dubbed Takeshi's Castle with all kinds of inappropriate commentary. I don't know what this is.
What the fuck is this, Jeremy?
I don't know what MXC on Spike TV is.
Why are you watching Spike TV, Jeremy?
Oh, it was a Japanese obstacle course game show dubbed with crude sexual Spike TV humor. Sounds kind of cool. I kind of want to check this out. I was in college by the time I saw the original show Takeshi's Castle, which has all of the hilarious physical blunders without the mild racism and sexism. For example, take MXC field reporter Guy Ledouche, who would sexually harass the female competitors and add his own creepy comments throughout the show. That sounds funny.
What is this?
I don't know.
This is clearly not. I don't know. Maybe this was super popular.
It was like a Japanese kind of Ultimate Warrior kind of show.
But if you want to talk about Spike TV, why not talk about Mansers?
Assuming Guy Ledouche was just like, oh, look at this woman. Oh, look at her butthole. Nice teats. It's a wonderful. That's how he describes it. His own creepy comments throughout the show, and harass the female competitors.
He was just like every time a competitor fell down and her boobs bounced, he was just like, oh boy, yoing.
Oh boy, yoing.
Auga. He's just a cartoon character.
His tongue falls out and unravels. It's a Wonderful Life ends with a twist about Mary that's somewhat hilarious now, but of course outdated. Long story short, if you haven't seen it, the main character wishes he was never born and sees how awful his town and friends would have been without him. Fast forward to the MC George searching and finding his wife Mary, who is dramatic music without a man and a librarian, gasps. The notion that Mary being single and a librarian is the worst thing in the world that could have happened to her is pretty outdated. Heck, give me that life right meow. I hope Jeremy's not married. Heck, make me single and have me work at a library. Right now, I'm married and I work at Buzzfeed.
And he does cat lady jokes.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, I mean... that's stupid.
You're telling me the 40s and 50s were also sexist?
Exactly.
What? I'm just learning so much about history right now.
I mean, that's pretty funny. I know that it's not meant to be a comedic ending to a film, but that is pretty funny that it's like, without you, I'm single and I'm a librarian. Oh!
Well, Jeremy would be upset that she's a librarian because he obviously does not read a lot of books. And he would think that's the worst thing that could happen to a person. Oh, the horror. They have to be surrounded by books and knowledge.
Oh, God, she might learn how to read.
She might learn where Libya is.
And then finally, the way A Christmas Story plays Chinese restaurant workers' accents for laughs is wrong. A top 20 movie for me. Well, all of these, I love this movie, but... So I watch this movie every day, and I love it, and I support everything that they've ever done, but... It's the most realistic and raw family comedy. It's hilarious and relatable, but the movie takes a weird turn at the end when they go to a Chinese restaurant for Christmas. Their home dinner was ruined, and they listen to some of the workers sing Christmas carols. The joke is that singing Asian men can't pronounce their R's. Ugh. We're going to come to a point when the 24-hour marathon cuts and everyone throws a fit, but it really offers nothing to the story.
So is he suggesting that we should never call attention to the fact that other people have accents?
Yes, you should never acknowledge that somebody has an accent. I just hated that these Chinese restaurant workers all had accents. They need to speak like goddamn Americans. That's what Jeremy's saying
I know,
here.
that's what it sounds like to me. Like, how dare they acknowledge that they are from someplace that is not the United States?
Yeah.
I mean, as a Jew who has been to a lot of Chinese restaurants on Christmas, that's a real thing.
Yeah.
The waiters sometimes do have accents.
And is he implying here that Asian men can pronounce their R's? Because that just offends me. That's a bold assumption. All right. That's the end of that article there. So thank you, Jeremy at Buzzfeed, for entertaining us for a night.
Great stuff. I say go and find another 20 more, and we'll review those 20 and get back to you. Also, please go look up Libya on a map and study it.
Well, I think we got to wrap it up. We've gone for quite a while here.
I know, we did.
Now, again, every single Monday, we'll be back next week. Enjoy weekly episodes of Working Crass. Please share our stuff with your friends, and share it online, and go subscribe and follow us so that we can grow this thing into, what you and I would like it to be.
Yeah.
Now, what did you learn today, Lauren?
God, I learned so much.
Yeah.
But I really learned that if you think the person on a flight next to you, if you think the person next to you on a flight has like a really cool electronic, just demand that they hand it over to you, because there's no such thing as private property and ownership. Down with capitalism.
I agree. I learned, that's a great lesson to learn here. Mm-hmm. And I'll add to that one. And then before my own here, I will say that, if you find yourself on a flight, I learned that Working Crass podcast is the best thing to play for your children.
Yes.
But, overall, what I really learned is that, in film and television, you should never, ever, ever, depict Asian accents. You should never have Kazakhstan or Kazakh people in any of your films.
You should never have Boy Scouts.
You should never have Boy Scouts or talk about Boy Scouts any of that. Never call any attention to sexual predators in Boy Scouts. Now, you should not put people with disabilities in films.
Absolutely not.
Not okay. You should not put gay people in films. Not okay.
No, that's a big no.
No Indians either.
No Indians.
And nothing that they eat. None of the disgusting, dirty food that they eat. And also Libyans, you should not put in films either. Make sure to never hire a Libyan in a film because it's hateful.
Never.
Trans people, not allowed in films. Anybody from Africa should not be allowed in films. Anything scary should not be allowed in film. Women should not be allowed in sitcoms. And Puerto Ricans should stay out of the country and out of our films. Again, not my words. This is what Jeremy has taught us here. Fat people, stay out of the films. Gay people, stay out of films.
We said that one already, but it's worth reiterating.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Animated films better not have any black characters in them. Also, French Asian people. Single women, no librarians for sure. A librarian should never be in a film. And also Asian restaurant workers.
No accents.
No accents.
No
Anybody
accents
with
of
an
any
accent,
kind.
only Americans in their perfect accents. And if you have any questions about anything that I just said, those are the words of Jeremy Hayes over at Buzzfeed staff. Jeremy Hayes says nobody of color or of any other sexuality should be allowed in film. So,
because if so, oof.
Oof. Oof. Oh boy. Well, thank you all for listening, and have a lovely night. Goodbye.
Bye.